My name is Joe Miceli, and I'll be presenting an article titled Perceived Teacher Response to Bullying Influence Student Social Cognitions, written by DeMaul et al. In 2020. The theoretical framework for this study is the social cognitive theory. The social cognitive theory has the idea that a lot of human learning will occur in social environments, and this includes but is not limited to the acquisition of knowledge, skills, and attitudes, and in this case scenario, what beliefs students will develop based off of teacher interaction. Students are expected to process the teacher's response and create cues, and off these cues, they will develop certain beliefs about bullying depending on what they are exposed to in this hypothetical scenario. The research question for this study was, does the teacher's response to an instance of bullying influence the student's social cognitions of bullying? And the hypothesis was, it was expected that if teachers actively responded to bullying by comforting the victim, correcting the bully, or comforting and correcting, then the students would perceive stronger anti-bullying attitudes, see less moral disengagement, which is, in layman's term, is how someone's able to separate themselves from a wrongdoing and therefore they don't feel negatively about it. And they would have more willingness to report incidents and expect less victimization as well as less pro-bullying behaviors. Research methods. 910 students, 47% of which were male, between grades 4 and 6 were given a vignette, which is a short descriptive story about a certain scenario, and in this case, all of the vignettes were the same. The only difference was how the teacher responded in each hypothetical situation. At the end of reading all of these, the students were then given a questionnaire about the story, and their answers were recorded on a numerical scale from 1 to 4, with 1 being not true and 4 being true. And questions differed to reach each of the 4 different cognitions studied for. And each cognition had about 4 to 6 questions for them itself. Findings. Perceived teacher attitude and perceived moral disengagement were significantly affected by the teacher's response to bullying. When teachers actively responded to bullying by either correcting the bully, comforting the victim, or a combination of both, the perceived teacher's attitude of bullying was much higher and their perceived moral disengagement was much lower. Similarly, when the students had a higher willingness to report an incident of bullying, and their expectations regarding pro-bullying behaviors were also significantly affected by the teacher's response, in the same pattern as well. When the teachers actively responded by correcting or comforting or both, they were much more willing to report an incident, and their expectations for the pro-bullying behavior was much lower. So as we can see, the active responses by correcting the bully and comforting the victim in this case were very effective, but the combination of both was the most effective. Meaning and application. This study shows how impactful a teacher's response to stimuli is on the students, and in this case, the stimuli of bullying and how they responded to that bullying greatly impacted the students. Students are always observing us and using those observations to create beliefs and attitudes about us and the environment that they are in. As educators, it is important to realize this and understand that it is essential for us to address situations such as bullying in ways that we show zero tolerance for it. And my discussion question to you is, as a teacher or educator, how would you address bullying in your class in a way to create an environment where students demonstrate more positive cognitions towards bullying, a place where they can have better perceived attitudes towards you with bullying, a higher willingness to report, and higher expectations for an anti-bullying environment? That's my reference, and thank you for listening.